Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel, and if you're new here, hey. So today I'm going to be showing off a RPG that I was making, kind of like an MMO style RPG. If you've ever played like World of Warcraft or anything like that, I can't really think. I play so many RPG games, but I just can't think of anything right now. But Guild Wars 2, you know, where you have like different types of abilities and stuff like that. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna be going through. I'm depending on how long this video is, I'm gonna be going through mainly just these 3 blueprints and showing off what the game does. One thing that I wanted to talk about is the ridiculous amount of widgets that I made. I mean, some of them make sense. I'm pretty sure this is just showing off the level that I'm at. This is the inventory. Class select, I definitely needed that by itself. You'll see why later. Magic and melee HUD, really I could have just put these two together, just like made it dependent on what the class that the player chose, which one pops up. I mean, you know, this is one of the very first, like, it was that FPS game, and then it was this one, because I really like FPSs and I really like RPGs, so those were the first 2 type of games that I wanted to make. But yeah, without further ado, let's get to the first blueprint. Alright, so for the first one, we're going to be going over the sword character. Right here, all we're doing is, you know, creating the melee HUD, which is for the melee for the sword character abilities. I only have 2 made. Okay, I might pick this back up and, you know, make it better and add more stuff to it. I mean, I do love RPG games, so might just pick this back up. But anyways, so here, as you can see by the comments that I used to leave myself, you know, explaining everything. So get socket transform, which is used to get a bone in the mesh. I made a custom one called weapon hold, so that way I could have the sword that I choose be attached to the weapon hold, or will spawn to the weapon hold, and then this attaches it to the weapon hold. For anyone that's new to Unreal, the reason you do I did snap to target is because, well, I wanted to snap to the weapon hold socket. If you use keep relative, I mean, as you can see, it keeps the current transform, but the experience that I've had with keep relative is that it just spawns in like some random place in the world. I've never used keep world. I'm assuming that would just spawn in at the 000 location. So yeah, I just use snap to target. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this. Health regen. So obviously, you know, we have some variables, some floats for the most part. We have a delay, so that way it's not just regenning our health every, you know, 0.001 second. You know, it updates. Eventic updates every frame. If you use Unity, it's like, you know, void update. But that's what Eventic is. But yeah, that's the reason we made a delay. The health rate, we have it at 2 seconds. So what's the health at? 0. So we get a quarter of our health every 4 seconds. Not a bad rate. This is pretty much what this is making sure of. Is we want to make sure we stay less than 1, because 1 will be 100%. We get the health plus health regen, so that way we're adding the health regen rate to our health, and then we're setting our health to be that new value every 2 seconds. Yeah, once again, we're just making sure our health stays below 1, or no, sorry, if our health becomes greater than 1. So this is just another check that I did. If our health gets to above 1, we just make sure we keep it at 1. I think I did this so that way instead of turning off the health regen rate, I just make sure to always keep the health at 1 whenever it goes above 1. And mana regen is going to be the same thing, just with mana. I think I should have made this a local variable, so that way for the magic character I have this set to mana, and for the sword character I keep it to stamina. But that's something I could end up changing whenever I pick this back up. So left mouse button, I'm pretty sure this is just a regular ability. So what we're doing is making a cooldown, so that way we're not just spamming it. We're checking to see if we're slashing. If we're not, we set slashing to true. We put a delay for the animation. Set is slashing back to false, so that way we're able to slash again. Ability cooldown is at 0, because we want to be able to use the ability again. The little check to make sure it's less than the 1 second, I think is what that is. Ability cooldown, I'm not sure why I put this 0.03. That's another thing that I used to do a lot, is instead of making variables for these type of things so that way I know what it is that I'm wanting to do with this, I used to just do this a lot, which is bad practice for anyone that's starting off. Usually with this type of thing, you want to make a variable for it and then set it to this number so that way when you're looking back at it like how I am, you know why you put that number there. Yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, I'm just adding 0.03 of a second to the ability cooldown, and we have ability cooldown where we're setting it to 1 again, and then we're setting a delay just so that way we could go back to this. And then lastly, we are creating the inventory widget, which again seems redundant because we could have just added this widget to the other widgets and make it all into one. Yeah, that's it for the sword character. Let's get on to the magic character. Alright, so for the magic character, we're doing the same thing at the beginning. Event begin play is what happens when the game starts up. I honestly forgot what the function was in Unity because I haven't used Unity in a couple months and I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, anyways, let's get to the one-hand combat by the looks of it. I should probably adjust this. So this is gonna be the one of the abilities, which I think is to shoot a projectile. It looks like I go through the actual functionality here, but this is just the delay for the animation, I'm assuming. So here we have ability tool cooldown, setting that to 1 second. It's pretty much gonna be the same logic as the sword character slash, where we have, you know, is casting. Here we have an orb because we want to see if either or is that's a false or true. If it's false, we take off some mana. If we have no mana, and it'll pop up as you can see by the way it's called no mana pop-up widget, which just tells the player that they have no mana left to be able to use the cast. Once again, we're taking off mana. Oh, right here we're checking to see if the mana is a 6, I think it is, something like that. And then if it's false, we have no mana. If it's true, we take away mana, because we only want to be able to take away mana when we have enough mana to cast it. So here we are getting the actor transform, breaking the transform to be able to get these 3 pins. Looks like we're setting it to just 45 units above our feet level, I think it is, or above the 0 level, so that way it's not shooting it from our feet. And then we are spawning in the magic projectile, which is a blueprint that I made for the cast. You'll see it later on whenever I show what the game does. We set a delay so that way we can set to is casting one-hand combat to false, which is just saying, hey, we're not casting a spell anymore. Setting our ability cooldown to 0 again, making sure it stays less than 1. I don't know why this is so unorganized. It makes it so confusing whenever I see stuff like this. It gets a little confusing for me, but yeah, it looks like we're just adding 0.05 for the cooldown for this one, and the delay just resets it back to less than 1 cooldown. Alright, so here is the one-hand heal ability. Gonna be the same functionality when it comes to the start of it. The only difference is that we are adding health instead of spawning an actor, which we spawn an emitter that is just like a little green ray thing to show that the spell has been cast and it's the healing spell, you know, just a typical RPG thing. And then yeah, just, you know, going back to the same functionality for the ability cooldown and making sure we set to is casting one-hand false. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the healing. For this one, we got the socket location to the right foot because we want our emitter to spawn from our feet and rise up to our head, so that way it shows that we're getting heals from the bottom to the top pretty much. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the heal. Health regen and mana regen are gonna be the same functionality as the sword character. Nothing new here, so I'm gonna skip that. And then again, inventory widget, same thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the magic character. Let's go to the simple AI. Okay, so the way I made this project is I just made it so that instead of the characters dealing damage, it looks like I made the simple AI take damage. And pretty much what this is doing here is just, well, as you can see, it spawns an emitter. I'm assuming this is a blood splatter or something like that. Oh, it looks like it's an impact of an ice because of the spell for the magic character. Alright, so for the death function, it looks like what we're doing is we're getting the mesh's location, well, socket location to be exact, and we're dropping a loop pickup, which is just another blueprint that I made where it just drops a random thing. I did make it so that eventually I can make it so like this monster drops this monster drops that, but we'll look at that in the next video. But yeah, we're casting to our game mode so that way we can get a bunch of the different variables that we made for our game mode. Game mode blueprint is all the other blueprints are kind of small compared to these three, so that's why I'm mainly showing these three for this video. Here we're adding, looks like 1% of experience. We're setting that to change our current experience, making sure our current experience reaches our max experience. So that way, you know, like let's say we have our max experience for that current level is 100. If we hit like 105, you know, it'll set our level up, which is what this is doing here, and it sets our experience back to 0 and multiplies our experience by 2. So that 100 max experience is now 200. We're setting it to change our current max experience, and this is another thing that I'm talking about, how it is really messy. Luckily, it doesn't seem to really do much besides getting these variables. Yeah, that's also some. If you're new to Unreal and you want to tighten this up, or I don't know why I said tighten this up, clean this up, you could double click on any of these lines and then just move these. Yeah, something I'm not gonna do right now, but just a thing that you could do. And then it looks like we're creating our level up widget, which I'm assuming pops up text saying level up, and we're updating numbers, which pretty much what you think it's gonna do is it just makes it so that our new experience number is showing, our new max experience number is showing, and our new level number is showing. And then we're saving that so that way, you know, the player, whenever they log out, the data will still be there of their new level, new max experience, and new experience. Looks like that's it for that. And then we are destroying the actor, which is the simple AI that we're destroying. And let's go to the event graph now. Alright, so for the final part, so the reason I did this is just to see if the ice emitter spawns. As you can see, I misspelled projectile, which is something I should fix whenever I pick this back up, because it's really important to. I also misspelled weapon. Damn, I can't type. But yeah, all we're doing here is we're checking to see if we're actually checking to see if whenever our magic projectile collides with something. Here we're just printing a string that types on the top left of the screen saying hit, so that way it lets me know that it is colliding with something, and it is that the rest of this is gonna work pretty much. So it looks like we're spawning in impact ice. We are taking away health from the simple AI, making sure it doesn't go below 0. If it does go below 0, we call our death. And I don't know why we're destroying actor again. I should probably delete that. And if it's false, we destroy actor, which is going to be the projectile. Oh, that's what that destroy actor is. It's not for the. Yeah, I should have probably traced. This is why it's important to clean up these things, because I thought it was connected to this, but it's not. It looks like for the sword, we have begin overlap, which just checks to see if we are colliding with anything. It's the same thing with this. We're making sure it's the sword that we want to use. Is slashing, can be hit. Once again, we're printing a string to make sure that our collision is working. We're taking away health, so it looks like we hit the enemy 4 times, they'll despawn. And then death, destroy actor, can be hit, set back to it. What this is once again checking if the simple AI goes below 0, it dies, it gets destroyed. If it's not, then we could hit it again. We set a delay. Oh no, sorry, it can't be hit once it gets hit. We set a delay for 1 second, so like a little grace period, because when the sword is coming back up through the simple AI's body, it'll count it as a collision again, and it'll deal damage again. So pretty much every frame that the sword is colliding with the simple AI, it'll damage it. So pretty much it'll be like a one swing, like 600 connections in that one swing. Which if you're doing something that like that typical anime slash, I mean, this is something that you could do. Just not have a delay, or just any of this actually. And then after the 1 second, which is whenever the animation is done finishing, I'm assuming, we could hit it again, so it could take damage again. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I think I'm gonna save what the game actually does for the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you haven't liked, please do. If you have any recommendations for how I could fix up any of this code, I'm gonna attempt to myself. Probably not anytime this month, but probably next month. And maybe I can make a video on how I've updated all this to make it more clean. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and bye.